folks, welcome back to another Bottom 5 right here on the Dice Tower. I'm Sam.
I'm JT.
And we are from a little channel called the Flipside of Board Games. And we do a Bottom 5 here on the Dice Tower. And then we do the top half of the same year on the flip side. We call that the top 5. So this is the bottom half of our top 10. That's going to be the top half of our top 10.
Perfect.
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. I like it.
Clear as mud. So
That
this
works.
is going to be the year 2016. 2016, and quite frankly, I think they just keep getting easier.
Yeah, I think they're just going to continue to get easier.
Upward trend at this point.
This one had plenty of space to play in.
Yep, absolutely. I went all the way to page 13, and about halfway through 13, that's when the NAs started showing up. So,
adding a page a year.
1,300 plus games, almost 1,400 games that are still in the top 26,000 games on BGG.
Yep.
Not bad. What about your little factoids?
We had 67 in the top 1,000.
67. The last one was
Last
what?
year was 69.
69.
Yeah, so this one went down too.
But still.
This year sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
This year sucks.
I did the math. It has to be 72 and a half every year from now to 2024 to get the 1,000. But then I forgot that there's going to be, in the top 1,000, there's got to be older games.
Sure.
Right. So we're not going to fill the whole 1,000.
Right. Well, maybe. You
might get close.
We might get pretty close, yeah. Just keep keeping track of it.
Yep.
Well, let's go ahead and get to it. This is the bottom half of our top 10 games from 2016, numbers 10 through 6.
Nice.
Well, let's go. I'm going to guess that you have never played this game.
I haven't.
I'm going to guess that you've never played this game. It's a game about penguins.
Nope, I haven't.
And they are high school aged penguins.
No, definitely haven't.
They're trying to cut class and go get a snack and not get caught by the hall monitor.
Is the hall monitor a giant polar bear?
No, it's just one of the other. It's one of the other penguins.
Another penguin.
Yeah, each
Cutthroat.
person. It's called Ice Cool. Get it? High school ice cool.
I
get
it.
I'm usually not a fan of dexterity games
I usually break them.
at all, but this one is just fun enough and just quirky enough that I've really enjoyed it, and it has a pretty wide appeal factor in that you can have a little 6-year-old kid playing with a 40 to 50-year-old man, and who knows who's going to win.
Sure.
I mean, because that kid can just whack the penguin just the right way to send it spurling through 3 doors, and I got all 3 of my snacks. Haha, look at that. And the other guy's sitting there going, how did he do that?
Yeah.
You know? It's just one of those things. And the fact that they designed the penguins so that they're kind of like Weeble Wobble penguins.
Yeah.
And you can flick them on the top, and they can jump over stuff, and you can
kind of roll and
curl
bounce,
them,
move
and
things.
There's all these different ways that you can actually kind of practice at the game. I never do this.
Don't play against a master pool player.
Right, exactly. So you can actually kind of practice and get better at flicking them and all that kind of stuff. But why do that? It's just more fun to just do the best you can and see what you can do. But it's a really fun game. Basically, one player takes the role of the hall monitor each round, and their job that round is to try to kind of bump heads with the other penguins, and that gets them. You get to steal their ID card that way. And
if you smack your penguin into there?
Yeah, if you run into, it's like, you're tackling them in the hallway or whatever. And so that's the way that the hall monitor gets points. And if he gets to the last person before everybody's got their snacks, then the round ends that way. The other way the round ends is that somebody goes and gets all 3 of their snacks. So it's just a really fun game. Very light fun, but still very fun. I liked it a lot. Ice Cool, my number 10.
Nice. Nope, I don't have any penguins on my list. Pretty sure. I might have some somewhere, but they're not. They're implied only.
No, hey, that's my fish, huh?
Nope, they're implied only. All right, my number 10 is a cool little game. And I actually forgot about this game. It's been a while since I played it, but it's a cool game. I wonder if I still own it. I might still own it. I don't remember. Anyways, where you're programming your television. You're programming your television sitcoms. They're all television stations, and you're going out. It's called the networks.
Oh.
From the networks, you're going out. You're picking up different sitcoms, different television shows. You're slotting them into your 7, 8, and 9 p.m. slots because they get different viewerships and everything else. You're also trying to get actors that go into these. You're getting your sitcom. You're trying to get actors that fit in those sitcoms. Of course, like some games, it has all of the, the sitcom names are all some play on some current sitcom or something else when it comes out. And then the interesting thing is
the IPs for all this.
Right. And the interesting, they're better anyways. The interesting thing about them is after your first year, it goes in like 5 seasons, I think. I think there's 5 seasons in the game.
Yeah.
But after the first season, people get sick of that sitcom, right? And so they start to lose popularity as they go.
Yeah.
But you're still paying the high-priced actors and things like that. So you're balancing your budget to keep your sitcoms up and running.
Yeah.
You're doing these ads and things like that. But it's a really fun game. The networks, good art, good humor.
Yeah, that's a good game. I do remember playing that game, but I just didn't play it enough for it to even be considered for my list. But I do remember playing that, and I think it's a great idea.
I have to check my shelves. I don't know if I still own it or not. Might.
I definitely don't own it, but I do remember it. So, good pick.
Yep.
My number 9. This, I am.
Oh, you said 3 crossovers?
I'm predicting that this is going to be one of our crossovers.
I'm predicting 2 crossovers.
I'm saying 3.
All right.
And if you don't have the third one, then you're a liar. I'm just kidding.
Okay,
I have no
fair.
idea.
That's fair.
3. I'm saying 3, and this is going to be one of them. It's a 2-player game. Greek.
A Greek 2-player game. I don't have this.
You don't.
That's not a top 10.
What?
No. Santorini?
I told you if we didn't have 3, he's a liar. He's a liar. Santorini.
Not a top 10.
That's my number 9. This is a top 10 game. For 2 players, absolutely this is a top 10 game.
It's a good game. Really good game.
Production factor alone, in my opinion, puts it up into the echelon of being considered for a top 10 for the country. For the year. So that's one of the things that drew me to it from the very beginning.
It's a fun game.
Because it's an abstract strategy game. It's a 3-dimensional abstract strategy game, which is another cool thing about it. And usually abstract strategy games don't appeal to me at all. Because usually they're all centered around the mechanisms about trying to figure out the puzzle, about trying to do it, and they'd really throw. This isn't really true as much anymore, but back then it definitely was. They're all about trying to figure out the puzzle. They're less about aesthetics. And this one said,
"Oh, this one, yeah.
Let's do both, shall we?" And that's exactly what they did. And so, being able to maneuver your little builder around and build up those buildings, and it's just a great abstract strategy 2-player game. Aren't they coming out with like a super deluxe version?
Yeah, the one that holds all the buildings in place.
And I don't think I've.
And they have like the buildings are more weathered and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway. It's such a great game, and it's definitely a top 10 game. Number 9.
I got rid of it when I did
Santorini.
Ragnarok's.
Really?
When I got Ragnarok's, I got rid of
I think you can have both. Ragnarok's is like 2-dimensional.
But it's my number 13, just so you know.
Okay. All right. See, he considered it.
I did. It was on the list.
Yeah, see?
Then it just kept getting pushed down and down and down. No, just kidding. All right. Number 9, Santorini's a good pick.
Yes, it is.
My number 9 is an Alexander Pfister game full of cows. It's not on your list.
No.
Yes. This
Alexander
is Great Western Trail.
On my list. Yeah,
Great Western Trail.
I knew this was going to be
in Great Western Trail. You're set collecting, hand collecting. As you move up the board, you have one little meeple that moves up the trail and does things at different positions until they get to the end. And then when you get to the end, you're shipping your cattle off to get paid, and you're starting your whole trail over again. So it's just a very fun worker placement game. It's got different places that you can purchase that can become your buildings. It has robbers or bandits in it, things like that you can interact with. and make other people interact with.
Isn't this the one that has like 60 different places you can work, or is that Feast for Odin?
That's Feast for Odin. Oh, okay. You're not even close. No, this is a Fister game, not a Uwe game. But anyways, Great Western Trail is a great game. There's been multiple versions of it come out since this one, but this was, I think, the OG.
Yep.
And they're all great.
Yeah.
I haven't played the last one, so I can't say they're all great.
Yeah, I see the draw of the game. It's just too much.
No, this one's not too much. This is like a medium kind of crouching heavy.
That means it's a heavy game.
No, medium and crouching heavy. No. Some games are heavy.
Coming from you, that means it's a heavy game.
All right.
This is a game that I have. It has the moniker of being the only game well, I'm sorry, not the only, but the first game that I ever backed on Kickstarter. And it is called Commissioned. It's basically a Pandemic style game in reverse, though. Pandemic, you're trying to get all the cubes off of the board. In Commissioned, you're trying to put all the cubes onto the board. And it's just a really cool mechanism that is enjoyable from Pandemic, and so that's one of the reasons why I think I liked it so much. But on top of that, it was the first Christian-themed game that felt modern. Nice. All the other ones were like trivia this, trivia that, put the kings of Israel in order, and if you do that, you get 5 points, and it's all that kind of stuff. And it's like, it's not fun. It's not fun. This was fun. Whether you kind of were along with the theme or not, that didn't matter. This was still a fun game, nice, regardless of the theme, and that's what I really thought was cool about it. It kind of showed the rest of us that Christian games could be modern and not just based on decades-old mechanisms. So that's my number 8, Commissioned.
This game might make me believe that we have one fewer crossover than I thought of in the first place. But it might make me think of that for a reason. But anyways, that is the perfect number 8 for you, because my number 8 is the opposite. Like the opposite. Can we say that again? The opposite. Yes. Mine's called The Reign of Cthulhu. This is Pandemic Cthulhu. This I'm taking stuff off the board. In fact, there are little critters and cultists and things like that, and Shogoths and... but this is a version of Pandemic. This is the same year that Iberia came out. So both of those came out the same year. Iberia's, what do I want to say? Iberia's a sound game. It's mechanically, it's probably got more involved than most Pandemics. And it's a really good Pandemic. But I like Cthulhu better, just because the aesthetic of the board is beautiful. The way you're moving around and taking out cultists, I mean, that's all very visceral. The way you're closing the gates, it's all very visceral. Am I right? I'm right now, aren't I? But anyways, and the very cool thing about this version of Pandemic that differs from the other ones is you have all these great old one cards, and they come out in different orders, and some of them are going to come out in different games and things like that. So there's that extra level of variability in this game. That doesn't exist in the rest. Yep, so
I get it.
I really like this one, Reign of Cthulhu Pandemic, the very opposite of Commissioned.
If quite literally in multiple levels.
I know
that could be an entire video in and of itself.
Yes.
How opposite could two games be?
We put them on the table side by side, play them at the same time.
They will start moving away from each other.
Play opposite turns.
My goodness, I've played it. I'm just not a Lovecraftian themed person, and so I was just like, meh.
And the graphics on this one are fantastic. Too.
No,
the artwork is fantastic.
Absolutely on board with that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to play it. I was not drawn in at all.
I know you don't like the theme. Yep.
And so, but it looked so good, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play this game. Gorgeous. Played it, and I was like, okay, it's good, but I have really no draw to it.
Sure.
So it's a good pick, but...
Sure. I think that's why Iberia stuck more with people than this one did.
Yep.
I think there's more of a divide there.
Yep, you got it. I don't think this is going to be a crossover.
Okay.
I really believe, because you've made poor decisions, that we're going to have maybe one.
I think one.
Maybe
left.
one. Maybe.
Oh, criminy. Maybe one.
So my number 7 is a Carcassonne game, and this is from that line that I talked to you about when I told you about South Seas, Carcassonne South Seas. This is another one in that line, and it's called Carcassonne Amazonas. And this one was cool. In Carcassonne South Seas, the new kind of mechanism was trading, and not trading, but like building up these your resources so that you could fulfill these different contracts that these ships were picking up. In Amazonas,
you have pythons that eat your workers.
No,
your
that
farmers.
is not correct.
No, okay.
It might be true.
I don't know. I have never played it.
But you are actually, you're building out the thing, the map, just like you would in Carcassonne, but you're also racing down a river.
Oh.
And so there was a river race added to this one, and it's really fun. These two, Carcassonne Amazonas and Carcassonne South Seas, are my 2 favorite ways to play Carcassonne.
Oh, that's cool.
But, with that being said, I think it's a great game. It looks great. It's got a really lush green vibe to the entire thing because it's about the Amazon jungle. So it's just a great looking game, and it's a great fun game. If you like Carcassonne with a little added thing of racing your boat down this river, it's a really great time. So that's my number 7, Carcassonne Amazonas.
They should have added in all of the cool animals, critters. Giant pythons.
I think there are in the artwork.
But
I don't know that it's worked into the mechanism.
Yeah, that's got to be. I think that probably sounds like probably a most beautiful version. I would assume. All right, my number 7. I won't say anything about, because if this one doesn't show up, I am saying anything about it. If this one doesn't show up on his list, then we know his entire list is invalid.
Ooh.
Yep.
Really?
And this one is called Clank, a deck building game, by Paul Denon, Direwolf, and Renegade. Clank is the OG 2016. That's when Clank began.
Yep.
Might as well say that's when Dune Imperium began, because I think that's where it came. No, it's kidding. But that's where Clank began for sure. And Clank is such a cool game. Now, obviously, there are better versions that have come out since, and more, and the legacy versions and all that kind of stuff. But Clank's still super fun. If somebody wanted to play Clank, I would play base Clank with them, no problem. You're just racing down into the depths and trying to steal a treasure and get back out. And you're drafting cards that give you movement or attack, and purchasing power, so you can buy more cards, and that's what you're doing. But it's just a very fun little game. It's great. Everybody loves pulling dragon cubes from the bag or cubes from the bag to do damage to people. And Clank is a great game.
It is. It is a good game. I am.
That was my last chance.
I'm concerned that we might not have a.
Oh no!
We might not have a.
He's lying.
Crossover 8 haul.
He's lying. All right, that's fine. My number 7 is Clank.
That's not a bad game.
OG.
Not a bad game. My number 6 is Clank, a deck building adventure game.
Boom.
And it's super fun. When you play with somebody that goes by the name of Roy Cannaday, it's less fun.
Why?
Because he saps all the fun up, because he always does so good.
Oh.
It's like amazing how good that man can play this game. It is incredible. That's the best word I can say for it. And he saps the fun out of everybody else's time.
Oh, come on.
I'm just kidding. It's not true.
Challenge accepted.
Ooh. Yeah, now that would be something to see.
Put Mel up against him. Good luck, Roy.
Unleash.
Yes.
Well, Clank is just about as fun of a deck building game as one can get. That's one of the things that I liked about Clank, is that it turned deck building into something other than just deck building.
Yeah.
And scoring points.
Yep.
It puts some theme. It puts some purpose to your deck building, and other than just scoring points, movement is involved.
Yeah.
Scoring points, yes, of course. Taking damage, how much damage you can take, is all tied into how the cards that you put into your deck, and I really enjoy that. And one could say that you know, maybe one of the best ways to play the game is to get down there as fast as you can and get out as fast as you can.
Sure.
And that's true, but it's not always going to get you the win.
Right.
It starts making it harder for everybody else because that person that gets out first also starts doing stuff that's bad for everybody else.
Yep.
So I get it.
But not completely bad for everybody else. Like, you run out of there,
true.
There's some people can last a long time
Sure.
messing around getting more stuff.
Yep.
So.
But everything that he said about the game, I totally agree with. This is a great pick. It's just too low on his list.
Oh,
that's all.
Just by one.
Well, yeah, it's too low.
All right.
Should have been at least number 6.
That was a good pick.
Yeah.
All right. My number 6, the last one on this list, the Dice Tower, is a cool little city building game called Quadropolis. Quadropolis is probably will never leave my collection. I just really like this game. It's good for anybody and everybody. You have a little board in front of you that's separated into districts, and those districts are lined from they're numbered from 1 to 4, 2 different directions, or 1 to 5, depending on if you're playing on the advanced side. And the districts have different shapes on the advanced side, but there's a central board of tiles that you can draft, but you have architects in your hand that are, at least for the base game, you have architects in your hand that are 1 through 4, and depending on which side of that little cube you put them on, like if I put the 4 here, then I count in 4 tiles and I get to take this one. And so you're trying to balance which ones you keep in your hand, what you need, and then I have to put that on a number 4 spot, so that would either be here or here. So it not only determines where I pick it from, but it determines where I can set on my board. So it's just a really cool puzzle. It's not extremely difficult or anything else. It's very pretty. It's a very nice little game to play with new players or with advanced gamers, either way. And you're collecting power in people and trying to manage your city. And I love Quadropolis. It's a great game.
That's a good one. I think if this one also falls under the realm of, it was one of the ones that I looked at, and I didn't put it on my list. I did play this a lot. I just don't think I played it enough. I don't own it, so I haven't played it in, almost a decade.
Yep.
Because that's about how old it is.
Anyways, that was the last one on this video.
Yep, it certainly was. That was a good pick. I do like Quadropolis. I do like it. That's a good game.
Super fun.
Good game. All right. Well, we are going to.
You should play that with your family.
We're going to head on back to Washington State now. And because you can go and we'll try to get back there before you get over to our channel, because you can go watch the top 5 right now. We're going to beat you there though, and get this filmed and edited, and should only take a few seconds. So we'll meet you there. Okay? Sounds like a deal, right? See ya on the flip side. Take care.
See you later.